A question I get asked quite often on stream are what my settings are for adventure quests. So when that happens quite a bit and I notice it a lot, I like to make a video on it. So here's the video for my settings. It's a good time to make this video because the test client is now gone. There's only the official client. There's only a play button. There's no test client anymore, which means Spider now has access to modifying the actual game that you're playing on and not just the test version of the game, which means very good things. Can't wait for that. Before, he was only modifying the stuff on the client side. Now the server comes into play, and that's when the real magic starts happening. Enough of that though, very excited for that. But anyway, so let's start off with the basic stuff for the settings. I'll try to explain why I use what I use, just for anyone that's like kind of new around here. But visuals, I locked this to high. I used to play with auto on, but I don't like it, it's too jarring. Some people play on low or medium. I just leave it on high all the time. Your frame rate's going to be low in this game anyway. Getting 10 FPS is considered pretty decent. If you're in the 20s, whew, you're sailing. The frame rate doesn't matter. Just leave it on high. Sound effects off. If you play those on, you must not have functioning ears. So yeah, leave those off, of course. I don't know anyone that plays with the audio on in this game. For gameplay, tooltips are off. Showpad, well, this is all like my go-tos are off so people can't go to me. Animations are on in here. That's probably one of the more important ones. Yeah, I sometimes will hide my cloaks and stuff like that, but yeah, that's very like individual on this. Leave the animations on in there at least. Now, for the advanced options, now I think this is closed by default, the advanced options, or maybe it's not. I thought they used to have it closed by default, but maybe it's always open now. So if I hit the X on it, it doesn't really do anything. Anyway, if it is closed, there'll be like a little button on the top left to open it. They change this all the time, so it might change in the future too if you're watching this video. But anyway, auto quest turn-ins are log turn-ins. This is very good. So if you have this turned on and you take a quest, you can accept it, you can close the window, you don't have to click on the NPC or anywhere, you don't even have to be in the same room, the same map. You can be in Yolgar turning in a quest that you got anywhere in the game, and then you just hit the keybind for your quest window. Mine, it's L by default, I think. That's what mine is. And then you can just complete it, turn it in, and get some blood gems, please. Or get nothing. I think I'm max stack on the diamonds, so and no blood gems. Feels bad. That's really important. Always leave that on. I'm not going to go through a detailed description of all these skills, but auto untarget dead targets, leave that on. Yes. Auto untarget yourself. Oh, this is huge. So if you ever heal yourself and then you're targeted on yourself instead of the enemy monsters you want to be farming, very annoying. I don't know how we played the game for like 10 years plus with that as a thing. I don't know. They should have took that out of the game like years and years ago, but it's out of the game now. You turn that on, never turn that off. The next setting is battle pets. This one will make it so a battle pet will always do the fighting animation even if you're not using a class that has battle pet animations, which is just amazing. I actually think this class might have battle pet animations on it, but trust me, this works with any class. So you can use it and you can see the dog is fighting like a battle pet should. And it stops your character from fighting, which is a little weird if you have a battle pet. I think they should both fight at the same time in my opinion. I don't know if that's doable. It might be doable. But anyway, pretty cool. Nonetheless, I really like that. That is an option. Okay, next up is chat settings. I have this on. I have disabled red messages. So that's if you're like spamming your skills and it says like not available, skill not available. Takes that out. And even with the new client, it's fixed for old AQW. Not that anyone cares, but yeah, it's a lot better now. They've made improvements to that, so very good. Chat UI, I have that on minimal, so it fades out, collapses on unfocus. So you can see right now it's collapsed, and you have to like type if you want to see the chat, or if a new message pops up, like someone says something in game, it'll pop up. So very good. Minimal mode for chat UI is the way to go in my opinion. Although if you're like, I don't know, there's times I do turn off, like if I want to see like server messages, if I'm waiting for a shutdown or whatever, but most of the time I'll have that on. Class active auras and UIs. This is like the skills. When you use a skill and there's a stack on the enemy, you can see it in below my character, and it'll be below the enemy as well. So it just lets you know what skills are active at what time. You can highlight them to see them up there. Really useful. I'd have that on, unless you just don't really care, then turn off so there's less clutter on your UI. The next setting in the menu is color sets, and you can see right here, if you go to color customization in Yolgar or in your house or wherever you got your color customization buttons available, you will get sets of colors. So you can set the color codes in here and save them, and that'll be for base, trim, and accessory. And you can save, I think it's like up to 5, but there's only 2 here. I think if you save more and more, it opens up more. And you can copy existing colors as well, so, and then save them. And you can switch between different color combinations. So if you have different color custom sets with different armors and stuff and you want to equip that set, you can swap out the colors by saving the whole set. Pretty good. The next one is one I get asked a lot about. Is the custom drop UI. So I have mine turned on. I have the inverted menu, so it shows up on the top. If you don't have it inverted, it'll be at the bottom right above your skills. The top isn't that good sometimes, but I prefer it to the bottom. That's just my personal preference. You can also change these, so the drop box is, the custom drops is very like up to you. I would try out a bunch of the different settings here and just see what you like, in my opinion. So decline all drops, you can actually hotkey this, and it's very useful. I have mine hotkey to like left on my arrows, and very, very good. Decline all drops, definitely set a hotkey for that if you're playing, and try it out. Disable chat scrolling, I have that off. Disable damage numbers, could be useful if you're doing like machinima, or like recording like a video or whatever, and you wanted to like get a cool shot of you fighting a monster or whatever. Yeah, it could be useful for that. Disable quest pop-up, quest tracker, these are all off for me. Disable skill animations, I have that on. I think, yeah, but show mine only. So that just reduces lag a little bit, so I don't see like the VHL spam and stuff in a room. I find that pretty decent. I still like to see my own animations for my class, but seeing other people's is pretty laggy. So sound effects is off because you already do that in the thing. Keep your weapon animations only. I would turn that on if you want less lag, for sure. But I like seeing other people's weapon animations. If you're hardcore farming, I would definitely recommend the freeze lock monster position. I have it off at the moment, but I probably would turn it on if I was doing a bunch of farming. Hide player names is on, and I have mine to hide guild names and hide your name, so you can do both of those only. So that's actually really cool, so you don't see your name, because you know what your character's name is, right? You don't even see the name above your head all the time. I see a lot of people on Twitter and screenshots and stuff that haven't turned this on for some reason. I don't really understand that. I think it's just something that people need to get used to. I think you should go in the settings and you should turn this on. Like, you don't need to see your own name. It already says it on screen in the top left if you forgot. Yeah, I don't know why people don't turn this on. I think it looks a lot cleaner with it off. Although, after you see your own name on screen above your character all the time, it is kind of weird at first, but I think you get used to it. Hide players, I don't know why anyone would turn this on unless they're like very conscious about just keeping their frames very high and they don't really care, but you're playing an MMO, you probably want to see the other players. Hide UI, that'd be good for screenshots, I guess, but very unnecessary. Now there's a screenshot hotkey by default on your keyboard. It's the key next to the P on your keyboard. Those two keys are both screenshot hotkeys. I don't know exactly what they're called. Anyway, visible monsters, good for screenshots, although there is a button on your UI to do that already. So yeah, don't exactly need that. If you click this button, you can actually change your keybinds. You can go in there and change them up. I'll show you mine very quickly. I don't know, I think someone asked about them once, so here they are if you want to know. I might change them in the future. Stuff like the location, like the travel menu, this doesn't work. It only opens and closes it if you already have the travel menu box open. It like it expanded, it like, yeah, it doesn't actually pop it up. I wish it popped it up from like nothing. It doesn't do that, which is really annoying. So it's kind of a worthless hotkey, in my opinion. But stuff like the decline all drops button, that's a very good hotkey to have. Alright, I kind of just skipped over the item drop blacklist. This is very, very helpful, especially if you're doing like stuff like a VHL farm. Very, very helpful. You're going to want to know this. So if you click on this, you can see the items you have blacklisted, and you can clear the list and delete selected and stuff like that. Very good if you accidentally blacklist an item. If you want to blacklist an item, all you do is hold shift on your keyboard and left click on the item. It'll ask you if you want to blacklist it. And yeah, then it'll be added to the blacklist list, and it will not show up in the drops anymore. So it just won't show up in the drop window unless you remove it from the list. Very, very helpful. Alright, next up is Quest Pinner. This one lets you pin quests. There's a little pin icon on the UI when you turn on this setting. And if you click that, you can click right here on your UI under your character image, and that will open up that quest window from that NPC for all their quests. So yeah, pretty cool. It saves you from having to trip back to Nullgath or whatever you're doing. Although you can just, if you have the quest accepted, you can just open it in there with the other setting. But having the pin on doesn't hurt anything, so I turn that on. Re-accept quest after turn-in is very helpful if you're doing a farm. It saves you a few button clicks, which is really nice. 1 or 2, I think maybe 1. I don't know. It saves you a button click at least, so definitely turn that on. It is kind of annoying because you'll have to abandon quests sometimes, but I think it's well worth the trade-off of saving you a lot of clicks when you're doing a quest over and over and over again. Show monster type does exactly what it says. It'll show your monster type. If you click on a monster, under their name, instead of monster, it'll say like if they're chaos or dragon or whatever, so you know if you have a weapon that has that damage prefix on it, it'll do the extra damage. Good to know for what's what. Definitely leave that on, no reason not to. Smooth background, this should always be on in my opinion. Here's what the game looks like with it off. So look closely at the background, you can see it's very pixelated, very blurry. The dog looks fine, but that's about it. Same with this one, it looks very bad. It's still pixelated, but if you turn it back on and then switch rooms, you'll instantly see that it looks a lot smoother as it says. It basically adds the higher quality art that isn't like, it's like, it uses the settings here. So by default, the map art was set to like low or medium, and it puts it on high. So you can actually see like the high quality map art. It's a FPS reduction thing that they had it on by default for so long. I think smooth backgrounds is on by default. It used to be off by default. So yeah, just leave that on. Unless you need a few frames. Alright, last few. Static player art, I leave this off. It bugs out with color customization stuff, but if you need a few frames, try it out. Worth a try. Travel menu. This is actually pretty helpful. I use it for the VHL farm I'm doing right now. You can add maps to this, so you type the map in here, you add to list, you click on the map and click travel next, and you'll travel to the map you clicked on. Pretty good. So you can minimize it, maximize it. You cannot bring this up with a hotkey. You have to go into the menu and click on travel menu every time. I wish you could just open this with a hotkey without having to go in the options, but you sadly cannot. But very useful. So you just type the map in. You don't have to type /join, just how I have it typed out here, and that's how that works. Well, there's my settings and an explanation for how the settings work. I guess I've just decided to do that in this video as well. So, and it's on the official launcher now, so everyone has to use this. I actually saw a few people tweeting at Alina like, yo, cool changes to the game. Like, okay, these changes have been in the game for a long time on the official test client, and AQW before that for years. So it's cool that everyone gets to experience these changes now, and hopefully maybe I showed you something like the item drop blacklist or something in this video that might have helped you out a little bit. So leave a like on the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye bye.